Hi, everyone. Good to have you here. I wanted to speak briefly today about my feelings about what a cult is about. There's so much talk about cults now, which is wonderful. When I first started in this field over 30 years ago, no one was really talking about it. And there was really not an understanding. And there was a judgment placed on people who had gotten involved as though somehow they were not smart or they were gullible or there was something wrong with them. And the focus was on the wrong person. The focus should always have been and should still always be, I think, in terms of looking for responsibility, on the person who is orchestrating these groups, the person who is running them, or the people who are running them, who are oftentimes knowingly manipulating the people who they are using and the people who trust them. I have been someone who has heard so many terms, so many New Age terms, so many kind of cultic terms, some of which have a scientific background, some of which are made up, some of which do have a scientific background but are used in a completely different way within a cultic group. Like now you can go to someone who calls themselves a quantum coach, which is nothing. And so you can pay them a lot of money and trust them. I would think it would be very hard for you to describe what it is that they're doing. It would even be hard for them to describe what it is that they're doing and what that means. A term I've been hearing about recently is this term 5D. And you can look it up. It's sort of about the earth changing, and there's this ascension, and it is about a new awareness and about all the things that I've been hearing about again for decades. And so what I wanted to be able to share with you is a little bit of a twist on 5D, which you can look up and see how it's being used. It's actually a scientific term, but now it's being used spiritually and in terms of metaphysics, but really is about shapes. The 5D, though, that I was thinking about was actually a way to understand cults. There are people who will say cults aren't a bad thing. And so a lot of people get involved in cults, and cults are just new religions or new movements, or you call something a cult if you don't like it or you don't believe in it. Cults are something much more specific. So I actually wanted to grab the idea of 5D and use it in my own way, as it's being used in its own ways by whoever sort of takes it and uses it within a cult as something that you're supposed to be achieving. Instead, this is something that I want you to be looking for so that you can keep yourself safe, so that you can avoid it. So the 5Ds, as I see them in my own way, having nothing to do with shapes in their original definition of 5D, is the first, that cults are deceptive. You are not told ahead of time what is going to be expected of you. You're not informed fully so that you can never make a fully informed decision about what you're signing up for. And if you've been given things to sign, often now cults will have you sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, or a lot of other things that sign your rights away and your voice away. That's another way that they get away with things, and be careful not to sign anything if you haven't had your attorney, not theirs, look over it. But also, there is so much deceptive practice, not just to pull people in and lie to them about what they're going to be receiving and giving them so much false promise, but there's deception in the way that they keep members, making them feel like success or happiness or ascension or whatever it is you're being promised is right around the corner. They dangle a carrot in such an unfair, such a cruel way. They'll also deceive you to make you think that they're the only ones you can trust. And that's the next D. Cults are divisive. they pull you away from your life. They pull you away sometimes from your family. They pull you away from your friends, sometimes your spouse, sometimes your children. And most importantly, from what I've seen, they pull you away from yourself. You no longer have a sense of you. You no longer have a sense of what you think, or you're not really clear anymore about what your path is supposed to be and who you are and what your level of value is, because in the cult, your level of value is based on how much you give to them or sacrifice for them. But really, is that your value in the world? And so it can make your life very limited. And the only people in it then are the people within the cultic group or the ones who are approved by the cult leader for you to have contact with. And so they divide and conquer, basically. That's the third D. You become dependent on them for everything, for the answers, for community, for a feeling of safety, for the ability to be able to feel like your life is worth something or you're working towards something. But they also make you dependent because of gaslighting. They make you not feel like you can rely on yourself anymore. You can't make decisions on your own. And if you do, you'll make the wrong ones. So you need to give over all that power to the people in charge, which creates a huge amount of dependency. If they also make you not trust the people out there in the world and not trust the world and not trust yourself within it anymore, that breeds a huge amount of dependency. And it's all false, and it's all cruel, and it's all about their neediness to be depended upon and to be the only people who you go to for anything. It has usually very little to do with you and your actual capabilities in the world. And then it becomes highly destructive. That's the fourth D. When it is a destructive group, that's when I would call it a cult. A cult just isn't a group of people. It's not just a different kind of belief system. It's something that causes destruction. Destruction in your life. Destruction in, again, your ability to feel confident at times. Destruction of your world outside of the group, or sometimes a destruction of you if you're born and raised in a cult where you're not raised to have a full education, to understand that you can say no to people doing whatever they want to you, a destruction of you being able to have the confidence and the courage to speak up for yourself and have a voice, the destruction of you being able to feel like you are physically and mentally capable of being on your own and making good decisions for yourself. And I want you to know that sometimes this destruction can be permanent, but a lot of times it's something that can be healed. So I don't want you to feel hopeless about that. That even though you've been destroyed in so many ways, still, some of this is not permanent. And it is good for you to know that. Similar to coming out of an abusive relationship, which I think cults are by and large. You can heal, you can get support, you can get guidance, and you can grow and get more strength and feel like you are reconstructing yourself, or sometimes constructing a self for the first time. And then something always to watch out for, and this is the fifth D, is that cults are debilitating. If you notice that you're exhausted, if you notice that they're putting you on a highly restrictive diet where you just don't have enough protein, you don't have enough energy to make good decisions, to be able to sleep well, to be able to think, that's often on purpose so that you're in a debilitated state. And then it's hard to decide what to do. It's hard to act on your own behalf. It's hard to make a decision to leave. It's hard to know if the reason that you're not leaving is because you don't want to leave or because you just don't have the clarity or the energy to do it. It's also debilitating because it makes you so fearful. It makes you fearful of the world sometimes. It makes you fearful of God. If it is a religious group, you're worried about leaving because you're worried that you're going to be punished. makes you fearful of losing this one community that has kind of come across as the only community for you and the only community that really cares or quote unquote knows you. But just like with this part that's debilitating is something for you to really think about, especially if you've gotten involved in a group when you had a life before it and now you see that you're not feeling as happy. You're not laughing. You're not smiling. You're not feeling as capable. You're not moving ahead in your life. You're waiting for the promises to come true. You're hoping also that the weakness or the sadness or the depression or anxiety that you're now feeling is just something that's going to pass. You want to be able to see the link. You want to see the chronology. Did these symptoms start once you got involved? And if a cult notices that you're in a weakened state, emotionally, physically, they'll tell you you need to work harder. You need to meditate more. You need to fast more. You need to do something to show how devoted you are, and then you'll get better. Or there are a lot of pseudoscience practitioners who will notice that you're getting more symptomatic after they give you some sort of treatment, and they'll say that's a good thing. That shows that whatever was inside of you is now coming out to the surface, and so you can get rid of it. But no, it really could be that they are making you sicker, and that this really is a case of malpractice and not care and not love. I hope this is a helpful way of looking at a complicated issue, but we don't want to talk about cults like they're just anything. They are very specific, and they're something to be avoided, of course, if you can. But they also are something that you can heal from once you get the proper help and once you understand what you were just put through. And I hope this helps. Take good care.